Good morning, y'all. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're enjoying a wonderful holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah, may it be happy. Whether it's Christmas, may it be merry. Happy holidays to all of you. And I hope you are getting ready to have a happy new year. And may your 2026 be much better than 2025 was for you. Because the next time we'll talk will be in 2026. So I want to wish you all the best and thank you for a great year on the channel. And we're going to do our final live stream of the year. Okay, today we're going to talk about maximizing 100% of your workouts, whether you're cross country, track, middle distance, even if you're training for a half marathon or a marathon. Okay, this can be a secret weapon in a workout. Okay, this is something I talk about quite a bit, but I don't know how many people you incorporate this. Okay, and again, if you're a tracker, if you're a track athlete or a coach, it's your first time here, welcome. Please make sure you do two things. Please hit the like button if you enjoy the content enough to come back. Please make sure you're subscribed. And if you do subscribe, just turn on your notifications and you'll know exactly when we go live. We go live every Sunday mornings. And you'll know ahead of time what we're going to talk about so that you can bring questions if you have questions. And you can always ask questions on these live streams. I'll always answer them live time. But again, one of the things that I've noticed as a former competitive runner myself and a coach of the last 2 decades is, especially in high school, you go from your workout, you do a couple of strides, drills, whatever, and you go right into the workout from the warm-up. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find your groove or the pace if there's a prescribed pace given to you in a workout itself, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find the pace. Or sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to get warmed up if the weather's cold and you're outside doing a workout too. If you don't have access to an indoor track. If you do, that's fantastic. But these are still workouts that I highly encourage you to incorporate into your training or consider incorporating them as a coach and an athlete, okay? These are transition pieces, okay? And again, the logic behind this, okay? The transition piece, the goal is to enhance your work, okay? And right here, you'll see the shorter option helps you find the pace that is actually prescribed for a longer rep workout or a tempo run. And I talk about this, right? 200s. And we'll get into detail, okay? 2 to 3 times a 200 with a 200-meter jog recovery at the pace you're looking to run for the workout, whatever the pace is, okay? This will help you find the pace for the workout before the workout starts. So if you had 6 times an 800, let's just say as an example, you can run the pace that you're looking to run for all 6 reps instead of 4 or 5 of them, right? Maximizing 100% of the workout instead of a percentage of it. It's a big difference, okay? And it is a big difference, and it can be a very, very valuable weapon if you're not incorporating this now, okay? And the longer option helps provide a VO2 max component to the workout, which elevates your heart rate and effectively transitions you into a shorter, faster stuff. Okay, shorter, faster, race-specific workouts. So let's just say your workouts 200s at 800-meter pace or 300s at mile pace down 800s or 400s at mile pace and so on. Faster work, right? Race-specific work with ample recovery, or whatever the recovery is. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time. If you're doing 400s and it's cold out, it may take you a little bit of time to find the pace or just to feel loose, right? Same thing applies to your run. Sometimes it takes a couple of miles to start feeling loose. That's why I talk about an active stretch routine instead of a static stretch routine. Puts you 2 steps ahead, okay, at all times. This is what this point of this is for the workout is as well. And imagine doing an entire season full of transition pieces of a VO2 max. Now you've got 12 weeks or however many weeks of VO2 max conditioning before a workout, okay, for a whole entire season. You can extrapolate that through a whole entire year. That's additional conditioning. And guess what? For middle distance and distance runners, VO2 max conditioning is very, very important. Okay. The more fit you are, the more systems you train, the better off you're going to be. And this is the type of stuff that makes it easier for milers to step down to the 800 for the 4x8, right? For the 800 meters to step up to run the DMR, whatever it might be, right? If you're doing a 2 mile at the beginning of a track race, track meet, and then you come back later on a 4x8, a couple hours later. You also want to be fit enough and sharp enough to be able to do this stuff. And the VO2 max component adds a level of fitness to your training. If you're not doing now, that will pay off weeks from now, months from now, years from now. Like I said, the fitter you are, the better off you're going to be, especially if you're doubling in track meets, which a lot of folks do, especially at the high school level. They run into 3K, come back at a 4x8, or whatever it might be. Running the 600, coming back in a 4x8. You need to be strong enough and fit enough to be able to do this stuff. These transition pieces not only help enhance your fitness, but help you maximize the paces for the workout itself. And sometimes the paces are a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more intense. Okay, and again, if anybody has any questions along the way, put them right in the comments and I'll answer them. Now, let's get into a couple of examples here of these workouts. Okay, example one is a transition pace, 2 to 3 by 200, with a 200-meter jog at the goal pace of the workout. Okay, so you do your warm up, you do your drills and strides, and so on. Okay, these are a couple of examples. Let's just say the workout is a 20 to 25-minute tempo. We talk about this a lot. That's VO2 max, right? Training. So let's just say if the tempo is going to be at 6 minutes per mile arbitrarily, then the 200-meter reps you're doing are 44 to 45 seconds per rep. 6-minute pace, or 5:58 to 6-minute pace. Right? This will help you find the pace of that rhythm before the workout starts. That way you can lock right into it when the workout starts. You take a 200-meter jog recovery after each rep. This helps you find that rhythm. Okay? That's example one. Example two, let's just say the workouts, your 1K repeats at 318 to 320 per rep. Okay? If that's the goal, then the 200s here are 39 to 40 per rep, which is exactly 318 to 320, right? So you look at the goal pace of the workout. If it's prescribed to you ahead of time, that's the pace you want to break down for your 200s. Okay, 2 to 3 times the 200 should be an ample number. Sometimes folks need 2, sometimes folks need 3. But nevertheless, you're looking to go, you're looking to lock into this workout, and you can take splits in 100. If you're looking to run, 39 to 40, make sure you're coming through the 200 in 1920. Okay, this helps you find that rhythm. Believe me, it'll go a long way, a long way. And example 3, if you're looking to run 800-meter reps at 229, 230 as a workout, that's 5-minute pace. If that's the case, then the 200s here at 36, 37 at 5-minute pace. Okay, the point is you're looking to run these transition. I never dedicated an entire video to transition pieces. That's why I'm doing it now. Set you up for success in 2026. Okay, so again, if the goal workout is a tempo run, it's a 6-minute pace. The 200 is a 6-minute pace, and the pace varies. If it's a 7-minute pace, then the 200 is a 7-minute pace. If the tempo is a 5:40 pace, the 200 is a 5:40 pace, and so on. The 200s are going to be at the goal pace of the workout, and they're always going to be before the workout starts. Okay, sequentially, that's the way to do it. You do your warm up, your drills and strides, your transition 200s, then the workout. Okay. So again, the last one is if the 800s are 229, 230, which is 5-minute pace, then the 200-meter reps are at 36, 37, which is 5-minute pace. So this is an example of a couple of examples of your 200s. That's transition piece 1. If the workout is a longer rep workout, mile repeats, 2K repeats, and this works for cross country. It works for track, whether you're training for the 2-mile, 8K, 10K, doesn't matter. 6K for women. This works for everybody. Okay, and if it's something that you're not doing, I highly encourage you to consider it, especially if you spend a lot of time outside working out in the cold. Okay, that's transition piece 1. Now, transition piece 2 is your VO2 max rep before the workout. I'm gonna give you a bunch of different examples here. Example 1, the VO2 max rep. Let's just say it's a mile, and again, this is after a good warm up, drills and strides. Okay, VO2 max rep is a 1 mile to 2K rep at 8K to 10K pace. Okay, then you take a 5 to 6-minute recovery. Then let's just say the workout's 6 times a 400 with a 2-minute recovery at mile pace, or 10 times 200 with a 1-minute recovery at 800-meter pace, or whatever it might be. That long rep in the beginning gives you a component of VO2 max conditioning, but also helps warm up the body, elevate the heart rate to make it easier to transition to the faster stuff in the workout. And again, these become very, very helpful when the weather's colder. Okay. Even if it's windy out. And sometimes you might need a couple 200s even before the VO2 max rep, just so you can find the pace for the VO2 max rep. That's fine too. These workouts are not going to sap your fitness. They're not going to prevent you from doing the workout itself. This is going to enhance your workout. Okay, provide, again, additional conditioning, even if it's spurts, even if it's just one VO2 max rep before the shorter, faster workout, and you do this 10 weeks in a row, that's 10 weeks, 10 additional weeks of VO2 max work that you didn't have before. That's going to enhance your fitness. That's going to elevate your training, right? So that's example number one. Example number two, let's just say you're out on the roads, because like I said, this applies to everybody. So if you're running a half marathon or a marathon, and I've talked about this a lot too. I talked about speed fartleks, right? How important they are in a marathon and half marathon. Well, let's just say the transition piece here is 2 to 2.5 miles at half marathon pace or marathon pace. Then you take a 4 to 5 minute recovery, which is always active, and then you do speed fartlek. The example here is 16 times 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. Okay, 16 minutes of fast running. And again, speed fartlek, when it comes to the marathon, okay, you start at half marathon pace, you work your way down to 5K pace if you can for the 1 minute efforts. It gets progressively faster. If you're training for the half marathon, then the work is going to be at 10K pace down to 5K pace, and then even the last trip down to 3K pace if you can do that too. Okay, that acts as speed development for the longer events. But this right here gives you a component of VO2 max condition at half marathon pace or marathon pace, then your speed fartlek. And you're maximizing. And you put the purpose of this as well is to put a little bit of fatigue in your legs, right? Before you do this, before you start your workout. This way, if you're able to execute the workout with a little bit of fatigue in your legs, that's going to simulate what it's going to be like at the end of a race, no matter what the race is. And if you can run these paces at the end or after that VO2 max rep, then you're going to be in a better position to run the second part of your race better than you did before. And that's the whole point of it too. Okay? Nobody gets a medal for the first 100 meters of a 5K cross-country race. Nobody cares where you're at the first 100 meters. They care where you're at in the last 100 meters of a 5K cross-country race or a track race, right? That's the point of this. Deploying your fitness, deploying your turnover and your speed when you need to at the end of a race. So that's example 2. And example 3 is like a hybrid workout. I talked about this a lot as well. You do a 1K, 2K rep, but now you're doing a threshold pace. Okay, take a 5 to 6 minute active recovery, and let's just say the workout is 800, 600, 400, 300. I talked about this. This is a great middle distance workout. It's also a good workout to do a week before if you're running a 3K or 5K. If you want to really inject some speed into the legs, that's a great way to do it. 800 3K pace, 600 mile pace, 400 mile pace, 300, 800 meter pace. 3 minute recovery after each rep. Or let's say the workout is 2K mile, 1200, 800, 400. Again, these are just examples of workouts. If that's the case, you start in at 10K pace, you work your way down to 3K pace or mile pace for the reps. Okay, you can do either half the distance jog. So after the 2K, you jog a K. After the mile, you jog an 800 and so on. Or you can do time rest. 5 minutes after the 2K, 4 minutes after the mile, 3 minutes after the 12, 2 minutes after the 8, and then you go into the 400. It really is up to you to decide what's most appropriate. But again, that threshold rep in the beginning sets you up to maximize that end part of the workout. And if you can do those, if you can execute those paces after a VO2 max work, after a little bit of fatigue in your legs, like I said, this is what's going to really set you up for success in the second part of a middle distance or a distance race when you're going to need to do it, right? So I wanted to give you 3 examples of the short transitional piece, 200s, and 3 examples of the long VO2 max rep transition piece before workout. Again, I always say this, if the workout is long itself, the transition pieces are short. If the workout is short and fast, the transition piece is longer at a slower pace. The goal is the longer transition rep helps transition. That's why I call them transition reps. Helps you transition from the workout, from the warm-up, right, to the drills and strides into the workout. You get progressively faster instead of just going from the warm-up right to the workout. And this also can minimize the risk for injury too. Get that transitional piece so you're not just going from the workout and from the warm-up to full blast in the cold weather, which can irritate your glutes, your hamstrings, your hip flexors, and so on. The transitional piece helps set you up to move into the workout more effectively and minimizing the risk of injury. And like I said, the 200-meter reps as a transition piece help you find the pace in the workout before the workout starts. The goal is to maximize 100% of the workout, not 2/3 of it, not 60% of it. It doesn't need to be that way. Put yourself ahead, 1 or 2 steps ahead before the workout starts. Okay? This is the whole point of the transition pieces. Let me know if you have any questions, if it makes sense. Put your questions in the comments. I answer them live time. Okay? And just to emphasize these points a little bit. Okay, the goal here is to, again, if you're an athlete, is to maximize the entire workout, like I said, not just a percentage of it. And like I said, the 200s help you find the pace before the workout starts. That's the goal of that transition piece. Okay, locate the pace you're looking to run for the workout before the workout starts. So if the workout is 5 times a K, you don't need to run 3 of the Ks at a goal pace and then looking for the pace for the first 2. The 200s set you up to run all 5 of them at your goal pace. Or if it's 6 times 800 or 4 times 800, whatever the workout is, tempo run. Maximize the entire component of the workout. Okay? That's the whole goal of that. And then obviously the last VO2 max rep helps you transition from the warm-up to the faster workout, like I said. And if the workout is outside in the colder weather, this is where it can be also a beneficial piece too. The body, the muscles need sometimes they need a gradual transition from the cold to being warmed up and ready to fire and run fast on the track or on the hills or on the cross-country course or wherever it might be, on the open field, on the roads. Cold weather is cold weather no matter where it is, whether it's on the track or the roads. If it's brick cold out, you want to make sure that you're set up to run well in the cold, right? Same thing applies to cross-country. If you 5 times a mile cross-country and it's over rolling hills, right, or whatever it might be, doing these 200s in the beginning help you find the pace, help you manage those rolling mile repeats in the beginning or rolling K repeats in the beginning, right? Sets you up to maximize the workout itself. That's the whole point of these. And again, like I said, I wanted to dedicate a specific video to this particular thing here. I talk about this a lot. I don't know who incorporates it, okay? But this is something that I've used with a lot of success for middle distance runners, whether you're running cross country or track, half marathoners and marathoners. It applies to everybody. Boy, girl, male, female, men, women, doesn't matter. High school, college, it works for everybody. The transition pieces, okay? And it sets you up for success. So if anybody has any questions, I'll leave this open for another minute or 2 before I let you go, so you can go enjoy the rest of your holiday season and have a wonderful New Year's. And I hope if you are going out there and celebrating party New Year's, just be safe and be careful. Okay, always be smart. And like I said, whatever you celebrated, hopefully it was happy, hopefully it was merry. So, any questions at all from me when it comes to this? Does this make sense? Do any of you incorporate this into your workouts? If not, I encourage you to consider doing it. Okay, where it's appropriate. But it's appropriate. I use this stuff every week. For those that get workouts prescribed from me, you can ask any one of them. They get these. Like I said, I want you get. Let's just say you get 2 workouts per week, and that's your time to shine, right? Whatever. I want to make sure that you're fully positioned to nail both of those workouts if you're not racing. Or if you have 1 workout per week and a race, I want to make sure that you're able to nail the workout. You can even incorporate this on a race day. If you run an 800 of the mile, you can do a couple of 200s in the beginning as a transition base if you want. Also, there's another option. If you have shorter reps, let's just say you're doing 600s at mile pace, 4 times 600, 5 times 600, right? And you think 200s might be a little bit too much. Well, you don't have to do that. 200s at mile pace. You could do 100, then a 150, then a 200 at the goal pace for the workout. That's another kind of hybrid transitional piece. If the workouts are shorter than 800 meters and faster than 3K pace, right? You can modify your transitional piece accordingly too. And sometimes your 400, 800 folks who might be doing a little bit longer workout, that might be more appropriate for them, right? The 100, 150, 200. Same jog recovery at the same pace you're looking to run for the workout, but it gets a little bit longer each time. It really is up to you to decide what the transitional piece is, okay? But I encourage you to consider incorporating if you're not doing it now, right? And we have a question before I leave. You're welcome, Multi-Kenny. Hopefully you find this helpful, okay? Like I said, I wanted to devote some time to this because this is the type of stuff that can be used as a secret weapon for coaches to help maximize the workouts, especially if you're outside in the cold doing some of these workouts. You have no choice but to be out there in the cold. Then might as well be safe and healthy and reducing your injury risk while you do it, right? This again, it can be a secret weapon. I've had a lot of folks maximize a lot of this stuff. Okay, and like I said, the whole point is to get you to take advantage of 100% of the workout, not 2/3 of it or 4/5 of it or whatever. You don't need to take, several reps to find your pace in the workout. That's the whole point of these transition pieces, right? So with that, I want to wish you again a happy new year, and I'll be back next Sunday. Happy 2026, gang. Peace and love. See you next time.